what's also a great way to earn trust is to provide a good user experience or a customer journey, so to say. Meaning that if you work with a basket on a marketplace and you selected 4 items of 4 different sellers, you don't want to make 4 payments.
No.
You want to make 1 payment, and then in the back end, it should be managed by a payment service provider that provides the settlements to the bank account of the seller.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Welcome to Let's Talk Payments, the podcast where we interview payments experts. My name is David from eFlow. We help merchants in online payments finding the right solution providers. And today I'm in a very special location at Delft, my hometown. I'm happy to be here in Royal Blue, the factory where they used to make Delft's Blue, known to many tourists across the whole world. I'm here with Rob from online payment platform. Rob is also from Delft.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us, Rob. We are talking today about marketplaces, online marketplaces and all their challenges. Speaking of marketplaces, what is the most recent item you have bought yourself on a marketplace?
So first of all, thanks for having me. Really cool to be here at the Delft Pottery. And to answer your question, so the most recent product I've ordered online is a strap for a watch.
Okay.
It was on the marketplace Etsy.
Yeah.
Perhaps you know Etsy.
I do.
And the process actually went pretty well. It was easy to search. On the other hand, the track and trace that I received wasn't really clear on where the product would be delivered. I was expecting that it would be delivered at my home.
Yeah.
But it was delivered at a post office nearby.
Okay.
So at some point I reached out to the seller on Etsy and asking, hey, do you maybe know where my product is? Because I haven't received it yet. And he mentioned, yes, it's at the post office. So I went to the post office. Unfortunately, it was already shipped back to the seller.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there on time.
What a challenge.
So that was a challenge.
And finally you got it?
Yeah, the seller was kind enough to send it back.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So you were able to reach the seller?
Yes, via chat on Etsy. But on the other hand, having a better, more detailed track and trace that provide me with the details that the product was delivered at the post office would have helped me having it at first hand.
Very painful. Yeah. And you lost the shipping costs? Or you didn't have to pay for shipping?
I had to pay again.
Exactly.
€7.50.
Yeah.
Which was really a bummer, let's say. And I wasn't happy with it. So I couldn't ask for a refund either.
No.
Which was in the terms and conditions of the seller.
Yeah.
Which, okay, is fine. But it's unfortunate to then again need to pay €7.50 to receive it back.
Yeah.
So.
But you really wanted it.
Exactly. That's why most of the time you order something,
Yeah.
And I really was looking for the strap. I was searching for on other marketplaces.
Yeah.
And on Etsy I found the strap finally.
Yeah.
So yeah, well again, then the $7.50 is something you need to pay, but forget when you
exactly.
had it.
How long have you been in payments?
I've been in payments for the last 3 years. Actually didn't do anything in payments before.
No.
So it was really a tough start, so to say. Not because of the company or the onboarding procedure internally, but because of payments.
Yeah.
And at first, when ordering before I was working at online payment platform, you ordered a pizza before, you ordered something on a marketplace before, but you never looked at the details.
No.
And zooming in on these details, it can get very difficult. So therefore, it was really listening to a lot of conversations my manager, but also colleagues were having with internally, so with colleagues, or externally with prospects or current partners of ours. And that really helped me. I think the ramp-up period was 6 to 12 months in total to really have the base knowledge about payments and the solutions we were able to provide. And it's constantly adapting, regulations or adjusting every year, perhaps even faster.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but now having the knowledge, yeah, it's super cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So you will always remain working in payments?
For now, yes. And I think I will be in payments for a long time.
Yeah.
But,
What would you do if you would not work at payments?
yeah, good question. I really like AI.
Mm-hmm.
And what in AI, of course, GPT, everyone knows GPT.
Yeah.
But what I now see more often as I clicked on a few posts on LinkedIn about AI agents and what they can do,
Yeah.
I think that's also super interesting.
Yeah.
That you can have a full sales team with perhaps only 1 or 2 sales reps without having the need of 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because the AI agents can do qualifications and scraping and sending emails and sending follow-up. So at some point you think, do I have my job within the next couple of... Exactly, yeah. So therefore, AI is super cool. And I think if it's not payments within the next years, I don't know how much, I think it will be AI that will get my attention. Yeah.
I know Amazon, I know eBay as a marketplace. What is a marketplace? How many are there? What should I think of when speaking of a marketplace?
So a marketplace, how to really describe this simply, is a intermediary between, for example, a buyer and a seller. So you refer to Amazon. There are sellers on Amazon, which could be businesses or consumers, and they offer a product. For example, the strap of a watch I referred to in the beginning. Yeah. Then a seller is able to offer the products to, a global scale of merchants or interested buyers. And these buyers are then able to purchase the product.
Mm-hmm.
So Amazon in this occasion is the intermediary between the seller and buyer. You also have other marketplaces that aren't product related, but maybe service related. In the Netherlands, we have Werkspot.
Yeah.
But you have other service platforms that then provides a service. Another example is IKEA. In Spain, IKEA provides a solution that if you purchase a kitchen at IKEA, you can also directly book a handyman that will come to your house if the kitchen is delivered, and then fix the kitchen.
Whereas the handyman will not be employed directly by IKEA.
Indeed.
I see.
Yeah. And then the first payment that will be made by the consumer is, let's say, 15,000 euros. Mm-hmm. And then 10,000 is for the kitchen and 5,000 is for the handyman.
Yeah.
And then a payment service provider that provides the whole payment flow can then make the direction to IKEA to make sure that 10K will be paid out towards IKEA.
Yeah.
But the 5K will then be a split of the payments towards the handyman that will do the montage of the kitchen.
Which is still a basic example compared to other splits, but we will get there.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of in short what a marketplace is.
Yeah.
But it's super broad, and even having Amazon, on which you can buy books or straps for watches. I mean, anything you can think of will be sold at, for example, eBay or Amazon.
Yeah.
But you have also more niche focused marketplaces. For example, Home24, on which you can purchase only furniture for your house. And there are multiple examples like that.
So the concept of marketplaces started with big platforms, focusing on lots of different categories, if you like, talking about products. But am I right that developed to more vertical oriented platforms focusing on one specific product or product category?
Exactly. Yeah. So Amazon in the example is indeed very broad with all the categories that they provide. If you look to Zalando, it's all related to fashion. Yeah. And if you look at Decathlon, it's more related to sports and outdoor.
Yeah.
And I think Decathlon is a perfect example because they were manufacturing, and they're still, of course, all the products themselves.
Yeah.
And at some points, it's just an example, they've received multiple questions of buyers would like to purchase tents or canoes. And if Decathlon wasn't able to offer these products, they were thinking, hey, how can we, without the need of manufacturing these products, offer them on our own website?
Yeah.
And then from e-commerce, they made the transition to a marketplace. So currently on Decathlon, multiple sellers, are able to offer their products to make sure that the buyers on Decathlon can purchase, 10 products of 10 different sellers.
Does this mean that over the past couple of years, there was an increase in marketplaces, but there was also an increase in the importance of marketplaces, potentially threatening small online merchants?
That could indeed be the case. And you see larger companies transitioning to a marketplace nowadays. And back in the days, Decathlon, Mediamarkt, it's also now a marketplace.
Yeah.
Even in the Netherlands, we have Gamma, which is like a...
Is that even a marketplace?
DIY, exactly. Yeah. So they also offer products from other sellers on their own marketplace, so to say. Yeah. So it's super cool to see the transition. And we, by Online Payment Platform, only focuses on platforms and marketplaces.
Yeah.
So we even help companies like a Decathlon to assist during this transition time what they need to think of.
Yeah.
And in regards to payments, of course, it could be super simple if we talk about a happy flow, what we most of the time explain. But if we look at a unhappy flow, it's also super important to make sure you create trust, offer a good payment flow to even make sure that the buyer is happy, but also the seller. It's not happening all the times. So you also need to provide tickets or dispute management to make sure that questions that buyers or sellers have can be answered.
And just getting back to the concept of marketplaces, we spoke about businesses offering their products to other businesses or consumers. But if I understand correctly, there's also a huge C2C opportunity.
Yeah. So for those who doesn't know like how the field could look like on marketplaces, you have B2B, B2C, and C2C. So business to business, business to consumer, and consumer to consumer. And there is like a difference in the payment flow, but also the customer journey and the customer interface. And business to business, most of the times, it's larger volumes. So, for example, Rode Flora Holland, which is the largest flower auction on the world, they're processing billions yearly. Compared to eBay, you only sell a book for just a couple of euros. And there are different challenges for a platform or marketplace if you focus on a B2B, B2C, or C2C area, in which also the payment flow could be different, as well of the questions that consumers have compared to businesses. Because if you are a seller on eBay, perhaps for you and me, 10 euros is not that much. But if someone really needs this 10 euros, but will be paid out after a week, then that person really would like to have that 10 euros within a week. Or even if you offer daily settlements, so a daily payout of this 10 euros to the bank account of this seller, and you're not able as a marketplace to provide this payment, you will get questions. And then a consumer really has the emotion of the money compared to a business that's already receiving thousands, perhaps 10,000s or more a monthly base on their bank account. So there's indeed really a difference between these industries.
There's a lot of different players, right? You mentioned already the logistics in your example. There's of course the buyer and the seller. Maybe there's even an insurance service. There's the marketplace itself. So how does that look like?
So in general, it means it all starts at a marketplace that provides a service or product between a buyer and a seller. But it could also be very interesting if you have a leisure platform, for example. So on a leisure platform, you could be able to rent a house for your holiday. But how cool would it be if you are also able on this platform to book your city trip with a guide, or book tickets to your museum,
Or your meal.
or your outdoor trip for just a couple of days.
Yeah.
Then you have like an end-to-end solution, which is super cool to the whole market, and focusing then on payments. Coming back to the earlier question, the earlier example that I have about the 15K to IKEA that will be paid and a split that could take place. This is now again happening on a leisure platform.
Yeah.
Because if you book the house and you directly see on the platform that also other services are being provided by third parties, then you can only do one payment instead of doing all kinds of payments or searching for other providers in the area that can help you with the outdoor and rental of a bike and so on. You just do one payment. And then once you have rented the bike, the company that rents out it will be paid out.
Which we have to make sure, right? That they have to pay, that they will be paid out.
Yeah.
So there all the regulations come in place.
Exactly.
Most important one, PSD2.
PSD2 is super important. Yeah, and it became active for payment service providers in 2019, if I'm correct. So what this means is that the Payment Service Directive, as it stands for, that a platform or marketplace isn't allowed to touch third-party funds themselves. So either they need to get a PI license, which we will cover later on, or they need to work together with a licensed payment service provider. And this payment service provider is then able to manage the whole payment flow for them. So instead of a leisure platform receiving the money on their bank account, it will be the payment service provider that receives the money on the third-party bank accounts of theirs. And a huge benefit of this, and also a risk for a platform, that if they receive the funds on their own bank account, they need to manage all the funds to the sellers or the ones providing or renting out the house. But if they go bankrupt, then all the funds are gone.
Yeah.
And also this happens in the past with larger platforms. So it's really a good choice of a platform or marketplace to work together with a payment service provider.
And the alternative would be to do all of this on their own?
Yeah.
Meaning they would have to manage funds on a segregated account, on an escrow account. They would need to make all the calculations and the splits themselves. But not unimportantly, they would also need to be licensed.
Exactly.
Which is a huge headache.
It's a huge headache. It takes a while and it's very costly.
Yeah.
So if there is money available, and Just Eat, I think, which is a pretty well-known company in the Netherlands, but also on a global scale, they have obtained their own license. So it could be really a choice for a company to go that way.
Yeah.
But for a startup or a scale-up with a great idea and already making a good amount of revenue, it's super costly for them to really make sure that they can obtain their own PI license. So what we currently see is that almost 86% of all marketplaces and platforms use a payment service provider.
Yeah.
And if you are still a startup and don't have the funds available to either integrate with a payment service provider or pay for all the services that is needed to pay for, it should be doable to do it yourself, but it's really not something that we would advise.
No.
And even if it's just for some brainstorming on our end together with a platform or marketplace, it would be our advice first. But then again, please work with a payment service provider because it saves you a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
And also a lot of questions that we can cover compared to them needing to answer this.
Other types of regulations which are important?
So there's one being introduced 2 years ago, which is called DAC 7.
Mhm.
And DAC 7 means that the marketplaces and platforms need to share more information about their sellers, so to say, about the really users offering their service or products on a marketplace. And then information that the marketplace needs, for example, a copy of the passport, location of the address, the amount they earned on the marketplace, should all be in one file handed over to the tax authorities. In the past, this wasn't needed.
No.
So every seller could earn hundreds of thousands of euros without any tax authorities knowing this. So you could imagine that it's not so much focused on fraud, but it's just a very good income for someone on a marketplace to earn perhaps a small portion of money, but also a large amount. And therefore, tax authorities really would like to know who is the seller. And therefore, the responsibility of the marketplace or platform to provide the information that the tax authorities would like to receive in one complete file.
So this is European regulation.
Indeed.
And that's a big challenge for a marketplace, but I guess a typical payment service provider can also serve or meet these requirements.
Yeah, that is definitely possible, but it should be a choice of a payment service provider to also be willing to offer a service like this. Because most of the payment service providers are all API driven, and therefore all the information to certain thresholds are able to receive from the API. But it also depends on the onboarding procedure of a marketplace itself. Perhaps they do their own due diligence, right? They do their own checks to make sure that the seller on the marketplace is really the seller he or she is saying. On the other hand, a payment service provider always needs to do a KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer. So once a seller would like to receive the funds, the KYC procedure could look like that a bank verification is needed. So the payment service provider knows to which bank account the money needs to be sent.
And then you would rely on the KYC being done by the bank.
Either the bank, but a payment service provider is also allowed, because they have this PI license, to do the KYC themselves. And after the bank verification, it's also possible to do a personalized verification. So in this occasion, it could be a passport or driving license that can be uploaded. And then once all the information has been uploaded, either a company or an employee or a third-party provider could be doing the verifications. And if for some reason a selfie has been made instead of a picture of the passport, of course, then it's between the payment service provider and the merchant, or the payment service provider and the platform that could be in communication with each other.
I see. What are the typical challenges for a marketplace? You already touched base on trust, right? In your example, where there could have been clearly a lack of trust in case this wasn't solved. Marketplaces have a huge brand to lose, right? A huge reputation to lose. But they also depend on sellers and suppliers to actually do what they claim will be done. So how do they deal with it?
So they can deal with that to increase trust on providing a service which is well known in Europe, which is called buyer protection. So an example of this could be that a seller is offering, again, a book. And if a marketplace offers buyer protection, it means that if the buyer pays the 10 euros, the money is allocated on a third-party bank account of a payment service provider. So the money isn't directly paid out towards the seller. It's being kept on this third-party bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Once the payment has been made by the buyer, the seller will be notified. And in the notification is, hey, the buyer, in this occasion, David, has paid for the book. Then the seller, myself, will be sent the book to your address that you have left.
Yeah.
Once you have received the book, you can then confirm in the app of the marketplace. And once you have confirmed, the funds will be released and paid out towards you as a seller of the book. So that's a great way of making sure trust is being created. Because on the other hand, if you're not offering a service like buyer protection and the funds will be paid out directly towards the bank account of the seller, then you kind of lost your money if the book will not be delivered to you.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And within payments, we call this escrow.
Mm-hmm.
What's also a great way to earn trust is to provide a good user experience or a customer journey, so to say. Meaning that if you work with a basket on a marketplace and you selected 4 items of 4 different sellers, you don't want to make 4 payments.
No.
You want to make 1 payment, and then in the back end, it should be managed by a payment service provider that provides the settlements to the bank account of the sellers.
Yeah.
And it still happens that you need to make 4 payments.
Really?
Before you will then, at some point, you will receive 4 different products. But it's kind of a waste of the customer journey and the satisfaction of a buyer that should be very simply pay once and then receive the items from 4 different sellers.
Yeah.
As well and you started this topic during the introduction, is logistics.
Yeah.
It's up to a certain point that a seller works together with, or the marketplace works together with a logistics company.
Yeah.
And not even providing a track and trace. So you just need to wait before you receive the product, not knowing when or how or what time.
Yeah.
That's also a downside. So in general, I think offering a way of buyer protection via escrow, offering very simple checkout flow is super important, as well of working with third parties that generate trust instead of killing it on a marketplace. And there are multiple ways to offer trust, but I guess those 3, together with the KYC part, as I explained, is also super important. Yeah. Because knowing from a buyer's perspective that you're doing business with a verified seller, and this could be a consumer or a business, is also good to know.
Yeah.
Right? And even multiple marketplaces working with reviews, so you can really leave a review once you have purchased a book to the seller. And if you see that the seller has 0.5 reviews and you see another seller offering the same products that has a 5-star review, I would choose the 5-star. Not sure of you, but so that again is also very helpful for buyers as well for sellers. I mean, you want to have a 5-star rating because you're offering a great product or service, but it should be shown on the marketplace itself to earn trust.
You provided, or you gave the example of a buyer confirming that he is happy, so the money can be paid out to the seller. What if he's not happy? What did the online payment platform do to resolve such disputes or to help?
Yeah, so we offer multiple services. First of all, we offer first line support and second line support, meaning that we can take care of all tickets that can be sent towards the marketplace. And we can then answer these. So these could be questions, where's my money? Or I haven't received the product. So then a ticket will be sent to us. Our colleagues from the onboarding or customer support will then answer these questions. The second line support is also picking up the phone. So we can also offer a service for marketplaces making sure that we can pick up the phone, which again, our colleagues of our customer support, and then answer the questions that the merchants, so the users of the marketplace, have. Even mediation. So we have developed a mediation flow that makes it possible that not even we need to become involved in the first and second line support, but what this will what this is doing is that the buyer and seller, first of all, will be brought in contact with each other. So if you're not happy about the product that you have purchased, instead of filling out a ticket or a dispute, it's also a service that we provide to which you can select, get in touch with the buyer. Get in touch with the seller.
Yeah.
Being in touch with the seller, you can then start a negotiation, like I want a discount, I want my fees for the transportation or logistics back, and so on and so forth. So we kind of leave the first and second line support, making sure that the buyer and seller can come to results themselves before they need to fill out a ticket or dispute.
Yeah. And from a technical perspective, you can obviously help, probably, if they would come to an agreement of a 10% discount or whatever.
Exactly. Then it's fully automated via API to make sure that if I paid 50 euros and we have a 50% discount, that 25 euros goes back to you and 25 goes back to me. And the great result of offering a service or services like these is that a marketplace or platform doesn't need to hire a customer support manager or employee that answers all these tickets and disputes or pick up the phone. So we do this for multiple partners of ours, and the result is amazing. And they're really happy. We provide them with all dashboardings and data to make sure that they have full insights of what we do, what the results are, because at some point, these are their users, right? So it's super important to be fully transparent about this. But the results and the outcome of it while we're doing this is great.
And that must also have significantly impacted dispute ratios, fraud ratios.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's a very niche you are focusing on. How do you look into that when it's about future? Is there a future for marketplace solution providers like online payment platform?
I mean, for us, we've been doing this for the last 15 years. So did start very small, but the niche was clear. It should be a platform or marketplace, not a web shop or e-commerce related. And indeed, if we look at the whole landscape of platforms and marketplaces, there aren't 10,000s of marketplaces. And our focus is mainly in Europe. So really looking into Europe, we have a couple of hundreds bigger ones, perhaps thousands if we include the startups and scale-ups as well. But it's really a niche, and it's either difficult to win them over if we do reach out from a sales perspective, but we have very great competitors as well. Looking at the integration that it will take for a marketplace to work together with a payment service provider, it's not something like you work with a plugin and then you're good to go. It costs sometimes weeks, nor months, nor longer than a year to really integrate with an API. And it really depends on the payment flow. It could be super simple, but it could also be very difficult. And we are providing full support during an integration like that. With the experience that we have, even with deals, if, for example, Richards, the founder of OBP, should be involved, we involve him during every conversation that is needed, because he has a whole lot of experience, like the whole 15 years, compared to either myself or anyone else within the company. So it all really helps sometimes to bring other stakeholders within the company to the table and just do some brainstorming at first, because we always start with a discovery call. And most of the times a more mature marketplace knows what's the pain points, also the wishes that they have, even how their payment flow should look like. But we look at it from every angle. And as we are a specialist within this niche, we always have some feedback. Even if they already know the feedback, it's just good to start the discussion.
Yeah.
And then either we can get very good solutions, or it's just about the partnership. And that's something we really are thriving to start a partnership instead of just landing a client. So we currently provide payments to a little more than 200 platforms and marketplaces in Europe, and not thousands, because we don't have the time nor capacity to really spend the attention to every of our customer.
No.
And because of the 200, even the small ones get the attention that they need, because they can also become a Zalando or an Amazon. So it's really our goal to help them scale, for us to focus on payments, and for them to make sure a platform marketplace can grow.
Yeah. Is that the future of marketplaces? Marketplaces scaling, and in the end, a few large marketplaces being left?
Yeah, I think there are some very large players, and coming back to the Amazon and Zalando. But what you now see more often being launched are more niche focused marketplaces.
Mhm.
And coming back to the Home24, only focusing on home and decoration, or Zalando on fashion.
Yeah.
I think that's more the future, compared to offering a whole broad of categories and products or services.
Yeah.
And you need to start small if you have a great idea,
Mhm.
which makes sense.
Mhm.
But if you know and see and experience that there is traction, and more people are using your solution, your platform, your marketplace, you at some point need more funding, of course, to scale. But it's really to find the partners that can help you growing. And I mean, if you already scaled a marketplace from 0 to 100 million, and you did that a couple of times, presumably you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
But we are in touch with a lot of startups that are on a birthday of someone, and have a discussion or a nice conversation that we are having currently. And there's like this moment that they see, like, oh, damn.
Bling.
Exactly. And then this bling happens, and they just reach out to us. And even if we don't land the clients or the person as a new customer, it's just great to give advice and just provide help to push them a bit in the right direction, because at some point they will get back if they are more mature.
What would be important for such persons when it comes to choosing the right service provider?
I mean, start having conversations is first of all important. And I think before having conversations, I use ChatGPT a lot.
Mhm.
So really learn how to properly prompt, and the knowledge is within the AI. But then use people within your network. And if someone has a great idea, a great platform which you can people on is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If you look at founders of marketplaces and platforms, for sure there's someone of the thousands that would like to talk to you, even if it's just for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Buy them a lunch.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I'll buy you a lunch. Can we speak for an hour? It should be pretty easy to do something like that.
And if they would look for a right payment service provider, what would they need to consider to select the right one?
I mean, doing business with a person, right? You don't want to spend hours on having communication via a chatbot or via email or phone. Meeting in person nowadays, most of the time it happens virtually, because due to COVID and so on. But really, it needs to be a fit. So do you get the right attention? Is the solution, the payment service provider, a great fit for the marketplace you will be launching? Fees, of course, are important, because you also would like to earn some money in some way.
Are payment methods also important?
Very important, yes. Yeah. So if you look at the Netherlands, I mean, our deal is being used for 98% of all residents. Going to Germany, you have PayPal. Going to France, you have Card Bancaire. So every country almost has its own local trusted payment method. Overall, credit card is also, of course, easy to use,
Yeah.
but the rates are higher. So it really depends in which country you will launch the marketplace, and then start small. If it will be the Dutch markets, then you should be able to find and provide the solutions with Ideal as a payment method. But if you go to Germany or the Nordics or to France or any other country, you should reach out to your payment service provider and ask like, hey, I have plans to scale. What is needed to go to Germany?
Yeah.
And what should I as a marketplace do? And what is important for me to know entering this market? Yeah.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm a marketplace. I've watched this podcast or listened to it. What is the ultimate thing I should remember?
I guess the ultimate thing you should remember is that you would provide a trust-related service on your marketplace.
Mhm.
Meaning that you want to create the great customer journey, and that will result of a user coming back and talking about you on a blog post or posting it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And trust is just the key for a marketplace that you keep in mind to make sure you can manage and have a successful marketplace.
It's a very good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I found it very interesting, Rob. Thank you for your time and for all your input. And thank you for watching or listening. If you have questions or you have other topics you would like us to cover, feel free to reach out at eflow.com. If you have specific questions for Rob, he is on LinkedIn. And otherwise, we will for sure connect you with him. Thank you, and see you next time.